It's a fan feedback show today with thoughts and questions about Jordan Walker. A lot of trade speculation talk. We're going to talk about some teams I want you to keep an eye on and a whole lot more coming up on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter X at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. Want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure you stop by, like, and subscribe, and comment. That way you're interacting with us. A lot of the comments that we're going to talk about today from you, the fans, is going to be from the comment section on YouTube mostly. We get Twitter X stuff a lot too, but the YouTube comments gives you a little more room to say your thoughts a little bit clearer. You can type more in there, so it works out nicely. Make sure you hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans of baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as playoffs wind down. The sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. So here we are on July the 2nd. July the 2nd, 2024. And the Cardinals are currently 43-40 on the season. They're in second place in the NL Central. They're 6 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 3 up on the Pirates, 4.5 up on the Reds, 5 up on the Cubs. In a wild card, they currently reside in the number 3 wild card spot, with the Padres just ahead of them in the number 2 spot, and then the Braves holding down the top spot. Now, considering how the beginning of the season went, to be where they are right now, I think most of us would say that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good, because it was an ugly start. 14-16 after April, 27-28 after May, but they go 16-12 in June. And although finishing just 4 games over 500, it doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't sound all that great. I agree with you. You're like, I thought they were better than that. But when you look at what they've done in their last 20 games, that's where you see the real big difference, the 13-7 record, which is the second best record in the National League behind only the New York Mets, who have come on strong. So that's the second best record in the National League. The turnaround has been significant, but despite what feels like, a winning culture at the ballpark, everybody seems to be pretty happy and feeling pretty loose. Although things got a little tight in that Red series, you hate to just split that one, but still, questions still remain, right? As to whether or not this team is actually good enough to make the playoffs. I mean, you're just in the 3rd wild card spot. It's not like you're running away with things. So whether or not the team as is right now is good enough, and if not, where is the extra oomph going to come from? Like, how are they going to improve this team? Who can help them out? And that's where most of the questions come from in our fan feedback today. Not so much that people don't believe in what's going on with the St. Louis Cardinals. They're just kind of questioning how they're going to improve things, because they need improvements. Every team that's going into the playoffs is going to look for a way to improve. They all do it, even the best of the best. The Phillies will try to improve. The Dodgers will try to improve. They're all going to go after some people. So what can the Cardinals do to make sure they get in? And there are questions about who is going to be on the team, and maybe about guys who were on the team and what's going on with them. Specifically, I want to get straight into the Jordan Walker talk, because that's where a lot of questions are popping up about players currently on the roster that or aren't on the roster now. It's Jordan Walker. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Jordan Walker, because the other guys that are missing from this lineup, the Tommy Edmonds, the new part, it's injury related, right? Jordan Walker has not been hurt as far as we know. It's just literally been a lack of production has been his problem. So we had multiple questions about him, what he's doing, how he's doing. Is he ready to come back up? So we're just going to kind of lump it all into one big pot right here. And we'll talk about all of it. So for those unfamiliar, in case you're new to the podcast, Jordan Walker rated as one of the top prospects in baseball last year. Makes the team out of spring training, even though I felt like they shouldn't have done that, but they brought him up. He has that nice hit streak, remember, when the season started, but then they sent him back down to work on launch angles. He was hitting the ball on the ground too much for their liking. Comes back up in June and has a solid rookie season. If you remember, hit 276 with 16 home runs, 51 RBIs, OBP of 342. He's slugging 445, OPS 787 in 117 games, OPS plus 113. You're thinking sky's the limit in 2024, right? Like, oh boy, what if he makes that next leap and makes that next jump to the next level of hitter? What can we expect out of Jordan Walker? The exact opposite happens. He struggles big time. The pitchers at the major league level figure out Jordan Walker can't lay off the outside pitch, and he has trouble hitting it the other way with any authority. Ends up batting 155, no home runs, 4 RBIs in 20 games with the Cardinals. The OPS plus at 42, just gruesome stuff. So they sent him back down again, thinking, all right, he just needs another restart. He gets his confidence back up, and we'll bring him back up. Similar to last year. They're hoping for exactly what happened in 2023. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. The problem is the numbers at Memphis, they're not great. They're not feeble. They're not 155 like he was hitting at the major league level, but they're not to the point where it would warrant a call back up anytime soon. So at Memphis, Jordan is hitting, coming into Tuesday, is hitting 250, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, an OBP of just 304, slugging just 395, the OPS at 699 over 49 games. Small sample size, 49 games, not a long time. Hardly major league worthy numbers, though. So as annoying as it is, I'm going to steal a word from John Mozeliak's vocabulary and just say, we got to show some patience. We got to show some patience. I know. It's driving you nuts. You don't want to hear that. But that is something that we need to do as fans. It's also something that the Cardinals apparently are going to do with Jordan Walker. They're not going to rush this. There are some out there like myself who felt like he was rushed to the major leagues last year to start the season. Second half, it looked like he belonged, right? He was getting better in the outfield, certainly looked better at the plate, but just 22 years old still. And we're not talking about a guy in his mid-20s already where the clock is ticking, like a Dylan Carlson. We're not talking about that level of like the age and where we're expecting things like things need to happen now or they may never happen. It's not there. But it's certainly concerning that things haven't turned around the way we were hoping they would for him when they sent him back down in April. So the Cardinals are going to take it slow. And until he's ready, they're not going to make a move on this guy. And it's not like they're desperate for him right now. The outfield has been a complete mess all season. You had the struggles of Walker and Victor Scott II at the beginning of the year. Victor still hasn't gotten his legs under him at AAA either. Like neither one of them who were up on the team are doing all that much better at Memphis. You had the injuries to Edman, to Newbar, to Carlson. Luckily for the team, things have really worked out for my guy, Michael Ciani, who has emerged as a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, +5 in defensive runs saved in center field. And I think he's +8 overall as an outfielder altogether. Alec Burleson has been huge. He's become the hitter that he showed he was in college and in the minor leagues. Remember, he won that batting title and everybody laughed about it because last year was such a tough year for him in his rookie year. He's showing you that, yeah, he can hit. And he can hit at the major league level. And he's becoming a big part of why the Cardinals have turned things around. We always trusted Brendan Donovan, no matter where you put him, to do a good job. And you've seen him do that in left field, where he's a +1 in defensive runs saved, hasn't made an error. He doesn't have the range of some of the other outfielders, but he gets to most of them, right? He's not hurting you in left field. Let's put it that way. It's why I keep saying when Edman and Newt get back here, this is going to be kind of tough. There's going to be some tough decisions here. And this is without even worrying about Walker. Let's pretend Jordan Walker doesn't even come up the rest of the year. You still have a lot of guys who can play outfield for you and do it pretty well. It's got me thinking about next year in a way. Like, what if Paul Goldschmidt is not retained. I know a lot of us believe that they're just going to keep him, try to get him on a 1, maybe 2-year deal, keep him around, which you can see the benefit of doing that. You can also go, maybe we should just move on, especially if it's going to be super expensive, which it probably will be. But if Goldie's not around next year, Alec Burleson, is that your new full-time first baseman? I think a lot of people are on board with that after seeing Burley be able to hold his own at the major league level now. Seems like a logical step. Then your outfield on paper, as long as they're healthy, as long as they're producing for next year, would give you Donnie, Newt, Edmund, Ciani, and Walker. That's pretty good 5 right there. And that's not including your number 3 overall prospect and Victor Scott II cracking the lineup at all. So I know it's down the road a little bit, but it's just something that I started thinking about. And it was something I was thinking about this weekend, watching the games at Busch Stadium and watching them play the Reds. I'm like, what if Burleson's your first baseman of the future now? Does that seem so far-fetched anymore? I don't think so. Let's get into some trade speculation, which is a lot of fun to talk about. Ideas from you, questions from you. We're going to get to that next with many fans on board with adding this one particular pitcher from the AL East. I'll let you know who that is coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. And now with the NBA and the NHL finals over, we've got fewer games. I know NBA free agency has been fun to go through. NHL free agency, not as much fun for the Blues right now. Not a whole lot going on there. But FanDuel keeps the sports going whenever you want, whenever I want. And that's one of the beautiful things about going to FanDuel. All I have to do is open up the app and just dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. Cardinals in Pittsburgh to face the Pirates over the next 3 days. Tonight, you got Kyle Gibson looking for a bounce-back game against Mitch Keller, whom the Cardinals kind of knocked around a little bit. Hit him pretty good their last time against him. Wills Contreras batting .333 against him in 15 at-bats in his career. Is this the Wilson Contreras breakout time? He's got a dinger off Mitch Keller. Can he get one? That's going to be up to you to make the decision on. Do you trust Gibson to be back to normal tonight after an ugly start against Atlanta? Not a lot of Pirates have hit him all that well in his career. So just things to think about. Home runs, hits, strikeouts, stolen bases. It's almost limitless on the things that you can bet on with FanDuel. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume because of all the shouting? Then go ahead and make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter X anytime you want. That feedback, always welcome and encouraged. And this is part of the show where we're going to rely on you to do a lot of the work here, because I want to hear your thoughts on trade speculation and on what you want to do. Who are some people that you want to target? Who are some people you are willing to trade? These are the things that I want from you. That way we can discuss them in a fun Locked On Cardinals environment together. So even if your ideas are a little bit ridiculous, because some of them get ridiculous, but we're not going to laugh at you too much. We're not going to point fingers at you. We'll just discuss it. So Friday, I gave you a few targets that were brought up by Thomas Govain over at redbirdrants.com. The 3 I gave you pitching-wise: Framber Valdez from the Astros, Tanner Scott from the Marlins, and the one most fans ended up getting behind was Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, Zach Eflin just pitched for the Rays on Friday night after we released that episode, and he was outstanding against Washington. The Nationals have been a pretty good team so far this year, surprising a lot of folks. He tosses 6 shutout innings, allows just 4 hits, strikes out 6, walks 1, picks up his 4th win of the season. Again, everything about Eflin makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals. He's a veteran, doesn't walk people hardly at all, isn't on a big contract. as far as like years and massive amount. He's going to make, you would have to get him, pay him whatever for this season, and then you got him at $18 million for next season. I don't know what the cost would be. I don't know what the Rays would ask for to get him, but there would be plenty of teams that are going to try to go after him if the Rays decide to sell. And again, that's where part of the problem is with talking about these players, is that there are only a couple of teams that have already decided, hey, we're out and we're going to start trading people. The Rays have not been one of those teams yet. Not yet, I say, because it could happen. It could happen, but we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do just yet. So we have to kind of hope that the Tampa Bay Rays are a team that will become sellers. They've got some relievers too. Jason Adam, Phil Maton, Garrett Clevenger, all veterans who, for the right price, they might be willing to move. So definitely Tampa Bay is somebody that you want to keep an eye on. But they're 7-3 in their last 10, 42-42 overall. They're 11 back of the Yankees in the division, so they can kiss that goodbye. But they're only 4 back in the wild card in the American League. But it's a lot tougher in the American League than it is the National League. So somebody to keep an eye on. All right, is the Tampa Bay Rays and the stuff that they have. Got a suggestion here from Space Magic Storm. Says, would like maybe Yusei Kikuchi or Jose Barrios from the Jays. Your thoughts? The Jays are definitely a team that I think is going to be willing to sell some guys. And you might see them move some big names. I know we've heard Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s name kicked around a little bit. He's gotten hot. So he's going to command huge stuff. A Bo Bichette, who's had a bad year. If they decide to move on from him, if somebody wants to give up the bag to get him, that's be somebody. These are not guys the Cardinals would be after, but the Blue Jays are certainly thinking about their future. They're 38-46, 15 back in the division, 8 out of the wild card. Of the two that you just mentioned, Kikuchi is the one that, for me, fits a trade scenario for the Cardinals much better. 33 years old. He's a free agent after the year, so he wouldn't cost nearly as much as someone like a Zach Eflin, who's got a year of control still. So that's going to, jack the price up a little bit. So this won't cost him, Kikuchi. Barrios is going to be very, very expensive. If you're trying to pull Jose Barrios out of Toronto, good luck with that, because he's not a free agent until 2029. Does have an opt-out year after 2027, which, that's something that you got to worry about. Like, it was something that the Rockies were worried about with Arenado, which was one of the reasons why they moved him to the Cardinals. So that's something to keep in your back of your mind. But I'd rather focus on Kikuchi here, because he is the guy that I think would make a lot more sense than the Cardinals giving up what it might take to go get Barrios. So Kikuchi, left-hander, 4-8 on the year, but records or whatever. The ERA, 4.18, his ERA plus 95. So below league average so far here in 2024, but strikeouts per 9.5, which you love. Cardinals could use some more swing and miss. His FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, is a respectable 3.53. It's pretty good. It puts him right around the top 25 in all of Major League Baseball there. For reference, Eflin's is higher, but still strong at 3.68. But, Kikuchi with the 3.53, that's something that you keep an eye on. That's something you like to see, which means he's probably pitched better than what the numbers say. I think he'd be an excellent candidate for the Cardinals moving forward to help solidify the back of the rotation with Steven Matz still up in the air. We do not know what we're going to get there. I've also brought up Chris Bassett as someone I'd keep an eye on from the Jays rotation, a guy that I've been fond of since his time in Oakland. I liked him there. In the bullpen for Toronto too, because I'm also thinking about bullpen help. I think the Cardinals are going to need that. I think they will need that for sure. I worry about, and I've said it before, the strain of what the first half of the season is going to be on not only Ryan Helsley, who's obviously been special, but Andrew Kittredge and Jojo Romero. You kind of need a guy that you would like to see somebody fill what was supposed to be the Keenan Middleton role. They got a guy. Toronto's got a guy. Springfield, Missouri's own Trevor Richards is a guy I would look at. 31 years old, 1-0, 2.49 ERA, 41 Ks in 43 and a third innings, a whip of 0.831. Yes, please. His FIP, 3.58. Going to be a free agent at the end of the season. You want to come home? Trevor Richards? You want to come on home? That would be somebody I'd keep an eye on. You know how we like to bring people who grew up in the area, bring them back. They always dreamed of pitching for the Cardinals. I would assume Trevor Richards did too. Multiple people bring up Cal Quantrill, like a lot of people in here, from the Rockies. Okay. Cal Quantrill, 29 years old, right-hander, 6-6 on the year. We just saw him pitch very well against the Cardinals, which is probably why more people are talking about him. Shut out the Cardinals over 5 innings back, what was that, June 6th? ERA on the season, 3.78, 1.301 whip. His FIP, 4.55. Not great. Not awful, but not great. The thing you look at there with Cal Quantrill is his splits. You know, usually you're like, oh, so he probably gets killed in Colorado and then is real good on the road, and you'd be okay with him. Not really. Not much different. 2-3 with a 4.05 ERA at home, 4-3, 3.58 ERA on the road. Not a huge difference there. Has another year of arbitration left before becoming a free agent in 2026. He's just kind of meh. Just meh to me. Nothing really excites me about Cal Quantrill, but I'm sure it's the kind of guy Mo's going to look at because he won't cost that much probably. You know, does Colorado really need him? There's a history with trades between the Cardinals and the Rockies. So you can keep him in the back of your mind, but not somebody I'm actively like chasing after. A team that I'm keeping an eye on is the Texas Rangers. All right. The defending champs not having a great year. 38-46. They're 8 back of the Mariners in the West. They're 8 back in the wild card. A lot of injuries this year. Corey Seager's been hurt. Josh Young has been hurt. Adolis Garcia not having a great year. Marcus Semion's numbers are down a bit. They're still good, but they're not like, you know, astronomical like he's been. Jacob deGrom has been hurt all year. Supposed to return from Tommy John surgery in August. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. I mean, if the team's out of it, are you going to force him back? They just got Max Scherzer back at the end of June. If the Rangers become sellers, they got a lot of names that might be interesting they might move. Like Scherzer, this is it. Scherzer's at the end of his deal. He's got a no trade clause, so he can say who he goes to, when he goes there. It's up to him. And I know that the Cardinals kind of burned him in the past when they didn't try to get him as a free agent previously. But considering where he is in his career now, 39 years old, going to be 40, what do you consider? Coming home to St. Louis. Going to be a free agent next year. Would he consider ending his career with the Cardinals? Could the Cardinals get him and then talk him into sticking around for a year or two? Is Max Scherzer good enough at this point in his career that that's something you want to do? He's looked pretty good so far in his first 2 starts returning from the IL. Andrew Heaney, 33 years old, free agent after the year, veteran lefty, 3-9 record. Ugly, right? Most losses, at least in the American League. I don't know. It could be in Major League Baseball. But the ERA, 4.04. His FIPS, 3.92. You like it to be under 4. The whip at 1.264. That's a guy that could be your number 4 or 5. You'd be okay with that, wouldn't you? Like, just take the record away and just look at the numbers. You'd be okay with that, wouldn't you? I mean, it's better than what Michaelis gives you some nights, you know? I know Michaelis has been pretty good until the last couple starts, but, you know, just hey, we're just chatting. We're just chatting about it. So Andrew Heaney, a guy I'd keep an eye on. Nathan Eovaldi is somebody that a lot of people bring up and want to talk about. Eovaldi's got a vesting option next year at age 35, becomes a free agent in 2026. Obviously solid. I don't know what it would cost. I would imagine he'd be more expensive than an Andrew Heaney. I don't know what the Rangers would want for Max Scherzer, considering he's leaving. I don't know. But I feel like Eovaldi, I don't know if they want to move on from him or not, considering they can bring him back next year. So, but somebody to think about. Michael Lorenzen, another guy for the Rangers, free agent after the year, 4-4, 3.40 ERA, Strikeouts are down. The FIP is up. He's over 5.08. There's some risk there. But we're talking about a number 5 guy. You're not going to get an ace to be back there. So these are just some names to keep in mind. Bullpen-wise, they got a couple dudes here that I want to bring up. Jose Leclerc and Kirby Yates. Both of these guys will be free agents after the season. Leclerc is 30. He's having a down year this year, 3-4, ERA at 4.25, but the FIP's at 3.99. His strikeouts per 9 are at 11.8. Got 47 of them in 36 innings. So that's a name I would love to see in the Cardinals bullpen. What about Kirby Yates? What is Kirby Yates going to cost you? He's 37 years old now, but look at these numbers. 3-1. ERA 0.95 in 28 games. The FIP, a ridiculous 1.96. His WHIP, 0.953. He's got 38 Ks and 28 in the third innings. Again, both of those guys are free agents next year. I mean, are the Rangers really like, we're hanging on to our 37-year-old guy? Probably not. He sounds like a Cardinal, doesn't he? Kirby Yates? He just sounds like a Cardinal. So those are just some other names and teams to look at. But again, these teams have to be ready to give up on the season. So the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very important as we get into the All-Star break. And then, of course, with the trade deadline coming up at the end of the month. But if you've got other thoughts, teams, players you want me to discuss on here, hit me up in the comments section or on Twitter X, and we'll get to it. Cardinals face the Pirates tonight. I want to preview that series. We'll do it next on Locked On Cardinals. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch your winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Wouldn't that be nice? If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays, which is today, time of this recording, to help your lineup, or how about getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays? With the finals over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. You still got women's basketball heating up. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson. You can win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out as well. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Here on Locked On Cardinals, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, draft, spring training, or the playoffs. That's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Unfortunately, collection season. Just because tax season is over does not mean the IRS is just going to magically stop coming after you for your unfiled taxes. They know who you are. They know where you are. They know what you owe them. They can come after you. The IRS can garnish your wages. They can levy your bank accounts, even seize your property. Don't let them target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. I'm somebody that's got multiple jobs, which means I got a lot of confusing things going on with my taxes each year. That's why you trust somebody like Tax Network USA. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, they've saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. They're good enough for you. Whether you owe taxes, whether you have complicated matters that require tax planning like me, or you finally hit that parlay. Maybe you're somebody who enjoys betting and you finally hit that parlay this season. You need help correctly filing so you don't get in trouble with those. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. And be sure to mention Locked On Cardinals at checkout, and you'll receive a $250 discount off their services. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's now also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows, which cover every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. So the Cardinals visit Pittsburgh for the next 3 days. Kyle Gibson against Mitch Keller on Tuesday. You got Miles Michaelis against rookie Jared Jones on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Andre Palante against Martin Perez. So the Cardinals avoid Paul Skeens, which is a victory in itself. There's good and bad, though, because there's still part of me as just a baseball fan in general that wants to watch Paul Skeens pitch. But I'm glad that the Cardinals don't have to face him, right? Considering he's 4-0 and has been virtually unstoppable so far since coming up to the major leagues. The Pirates are 5-5 in their last 10. They've dropped 2 of their last 3 when they were in Atlanta over the weekend to wrap up the month of June. Mitch Keller, he's tough. He's the starter tonight. It's not going to be easy. Jared Jones, also no slouch in his rookie year. Martin Perez, someone you'd like to take advantage of in the day game on Thursday. Offensively, might not be a great series to watch. Neither the Cardinals or the Pirates are hitting the ball all that well lately. Pirates batting .210 over the last week. Cardinals at .204. Rowdy Tellez, yep, he's still there. 2 home runs and 3 RBIs in his last 12 at-bats. Brian Reynolds was red hot until the Atlanta series. And then he cooled off significantly in that series, so let's hope he keeps going down. Connor Joe, 4 for his last 8. Key Brian Hayes, 4 for his last 12. O'Neal Cruz, we know about him. Crazy power from the left side. Strikes out a bunch, too. Got a cannon of an arm at shortstop. We'll boot the ball around a little bit, but he's a fun guy to watch, too. For the Cardinals, Nolan Gorman, man, I don't know what to tell you. He's just in a really bad funk right now. I kept waiting for it in the Red Series for him to break out, and he hit a couple of deep fly balls, and I'm like, okay, he's just barely missing. And then he just had a horrendous game on Sunday. And I'm like he's striking out a ridiculous amount, more than he ever has, which is saying a lot, considering how much Nolan Gorman strikes out. 1 for his last 16. He hit just 141 in the month of June. Hasn't homered since June 19th. Only has 2 home runs since June 11th. It's been bad. It's been really, really bad for Nolan Gorman recently. Nolan Arenado may not be hitting with the power that we were hoping would finally show up. Still hasn't. But he and Michael Ciani have 6 hits apiece to lead the team over the last week. Both Donnie and Burleson cooled off against the Reds. Contreras still has not looked great at the plate since coming back from the IL. I was worried about that. I was worried that they were going to rush him back up when it didn't need to happen. They did it anyway because he's Wilson Contreras. He's a veteran, and when he says he's ready, he's ready. But he didn't hit all that good in his rehab assignments. He hasn't hit all that good since coming up to the team. So could be a few 2-1, 3-2 type of ball games in Pittsburgh over the next 3 days, which is something we're used to as Cardinals fans because that's what they do, 1-run games. Want to congratulate Lance Lynn on his 1,000 strikeouts in a Cardinals uniform. Cardinals Hall of Famer Lance Lynn, what do you think? Do you think he's got the resume as a Cardinal that they'll vote him in at some point? I don't know. Something to think about. And also, Tinkins, Quinn Matthews have been selected for the Futures game during All-Star Weekend, which is great. Congratulations to them. They also released a new top 100 prospect list. Hintz is number 43. Quinn Matthews cracks the top 100, just makes it in number 100. They were the only 2 Cardinals in the top 100, both Thomas Ajacey and Victor Scott, who were previously on the list. They've been dropped. For obvious reasons, both of them having not great years compared to what they did last year. So you could understand that. And they were late guys. Like Sajasi was in the upper 80s. Victor was, I think, 94. So you could see why they fall. It's not like they're just like vanished and they're like, they're terrible players now. That's not the case. They're just not top 100. A lot of people dropped off the list too. So don't freak out about that. Anyway, that'll do it for us today. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give me a follow on Twitter X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and help our channel and love for the Cardinals continue to grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Have a good one.